Uh, Hello, folks. Today I'm going to address a very peculiar topic that in English language has not been addressed too much, if at all, not from a practitioner, not from someone involved in tradition. So I would say today we are going to speak about two topics because they are related. We have the Yelele or Rusalile, which are the initiatic entities of the Eastern European tradition. They are the ladies that keep the tradition as spirits. We also have the shamans called the horsemen or the horsing people because they are being possessed by the Kaloyanu, who is a great spirit of ancestral nature. So here we go. We have the possessed people by Kaloyanu, and we also have the Rusalile and Yelele, who, if you do not have the proper protocol, they get you crazy. Obviously, there is a fight, an active fight between traditions. All the bad things that have been said about Yelele or Rusalile come from the Christians, and the traditions are intertwined here. So right now I'm gonna translate live from a manuscript. So bear with me, it's not gonna be easy. I could tumble a bit, my tongue could tumble a bit because it's written in old language and I'm trying to translate it into modern English. Okay? But as I translate live at the camera, I will also speak stuff relevant for you guys to know and understand. Again, we are speaking about a tradition that was conserved, that is conserved. Obviously, it's a lot to dig in. Obviously, it is conserved, but it's conserved under very thick layers of Christianity, that's for sure. So here we go. We have Rusalile. The Rusalile or Yelele week uh, is happening for an entire week at 50 days after the Christian um, celebration of the resurrection. So after 50 days, the Rusalile or Yelele are very much available to someone to be invoked. They are called, uh, during this time, you need to not work anything. You need to fast if possible, says the tradition. They are also called the saint ones, but not saint in the sense of Christian saints. And in the villages, there was also a question asked to a crazy person. This guy was taken by the Yelele or the Rusalile because it's easy to angry them if you're unpolite with some spirits. Okay, so they are very personal and they take it very personal, as you and me would if we would be disrespected. Yelele and Rusalile are the same entity in many parts of our country. In Eastern Europe, this is believed. Rusalile or Yelele as fairy entities, they like to sing and do a lot of dancing around fountains, crossroads, and in the openings of forests. This is where the initiate must go look for them. If you are not initiated and you listen to their song, they will curse you. If you look at how they dance, they will curse you. Some people lose their speech completely for their entire life if they are seen by these entities. So these entities can cripple a person that is not initiated. If someone is affected by these entities, um, some witches can cure those persons. The axe of Rusali or the axe of Yelele is called the device that is used for the enchantment to cure yourself from the curse. And the axe of Yelele can also be some kind of a plant found in very deep forests that are not touched by human foot. It is said here that it's good that a man needs to guard himself against these entities. But this is said for the Christians. All right. To not draw in their wrath, that week needs to be clean and very much about fasting and not work. In that week, you don't need to go and drink water from any fountain. And if you still need to drink water that week from a fountain during the night, you need to drop a bit of that water in the fire and then drink it. Do not go into the forest or open field or at crossroads during that week. But these are, again, I'm saying, these are advices for the Christians, for someone who really wants to get in touch with the Romanian folkloric magic. That's what you need to do, actually. But don't do it. So whomever is watching this video, take some advice from me first. Do not risk anything in this regard. It's very dangerous. Okay. Okay. For example, during that time, if you take rest anywhere in nature, you need to make a big cross, which is not a Christian symbol, but is a universal symbol of unity, union with God, everywhere in the world. And you need to spit 3 times in that place that you have rested. So you see, there are a lot of elements tied in with these entities and the rituals in this culture. When the days of the Rusali or Yelele are celebrated, the women are touched on their way to church or on their way to any worship place with branches from a hazelnut tree. The souls of the dead during this time are departing more easily towards the heavens. All the days of Rusali mentioned now, the shamans of the folk tradition are doing their chantings and their dances, sacred healing therapeutic dances. Today in Romania, the Calusarii do not know the deep meaning of their own ritual. But if an initiate starts to really involve himself into the Calusarii practice, that is a very strong therapeutic folkloric practice, one of the best conserved practices of therapeutic nature in Europe, if not in the world. Why? It is also very old. The words, the rituals, the gestures, the entire machinery of the ritual is kept intact. Not accessible in English though, but I'm pretty sure I want to make more public our tradition in the world. 13 Calusarii are required for the Calusarii ritual, which is a therapeutic ritual. These 13 Calusarii are about, they are the impersonation of the 12 gods in the European traditions. 12 gods in the Nordic tradition, 12 gods in the Greek tradition. 13 is 12 plus 1 because the trickster is the 13 one. The trickster plays a very huge initiatic role, in the Calusarii practice. He plays the bad guy, but in reality he helps the therapeutic practice. There are two leaders of this society, of this secret society, which is called the Vataf. The Vataf is Woden. It's also related to Odin, and he's he is the leader of the pack. He is the leader of the possessed ones, possessed in the positive sense, possessed by God, possessed by their ancestral god, which is called Kaloyanu, the great horse, a horse figure. Okay? So Vatafu, Voden or Odin, their leader, and the mute guy. Don't laugh. This is like Loki. This is like a trickster. This is a This is a Mercury Hermes type of entity. So the mute guy, he's mute, and the Vataf, Voden or Odin. The Vataf has a root in the word Voda, which Voda is Voden, Vodan, Wotan, and so forth. After they have chosen the Vataf and the mute guy, these therapeutic dancers, possessed by Kaloyanu, they make an oath, and it's called the Oath of the Banner. They take a hazelnut tree, a hazelnut branch, and they tie in its top a garland of garlic, a huge garland of green garlic, from which every Kalushar takes 3 wires. Their banner symbolizes exorcism. Their banner symbolizes control over bad spirits. So there you go. They take the oath, they do the banner. The banner is of garlic and it symbolizes exorcism. After they establish the banner, they start their exorcist practices, which are at the first sight very hard to guess that that is an exorcism. This is the banner of the Calusarii, which is guarded by the Calusarii heavily. And if someone steals the banner, the Calusarii spiritually, they can get really crazy. The oath is done in the following manner. The banner is raised up high, kept straight. All the Calusarii put their hands on the banner, but the 13th guy, the mute, the trickster, doesn't do it. So already the bad guy is ritualistically implemented in the ritual. During the oath, the bad guy shuts up. He doesn't take the oath for real. And they say something with the words, in the name of the saint God, we tie ourselves, paying a big oath to this flag, that we will do the rituals in justice without sorrow and without murmur, without whispers, without cunningness. After they have sworn their oath, the guy who has not said the oath starts to behave strangely. This is ritualistic. And he starts to say a lot of stupid stuff. But this is done normally, ritualistically in trance. He is possessed by the trickster. The ritualistic role of the Mutu guy, the guy who doesn't speak, he's crippled with his mouth, basically. Okay, but weird enough, he starts to speak bad stuff. So he challenges the Calusarii to a spiritual fight. Actually, the guy represents the negative entities that they are about to exorcise. But you must understand that if a guy takes this role, he is very experienced into the sect, he's very experienced into the society. When I'm continuously translating live from the ritual now. Then they take some distance between themselves. They after they take their oath, they say they set up the place of the meeting, because they take the oath, but the real ritual starts later, when they will start to uh, walk around the village or the civilized places, the banner and the kalush. Actually, this is ancestor worship at its best. They start to gather themselves at a home, for example, when there is a problem. They get initiated into the dances, and they make repetitions of the dances to be very well prepared for the actual performance. During the actual performance of therapeutic nature, they are being seconded by musicians. The musicians must know the hora, which is a type of dancing circle people doing around these parts, floricica, the flower, and kalushul, okay, the horse. So even the musicians must know the music on which the Calusarii are going to perform their therapeutic dance. So it's rather complex. You need musicians, you need people, you need oaths, you need the ritual, and you need initiates in these two. The problem nowadays, guys, is the ritual exists in Romania, but the people do not understand the ritual. Okay, if someone would be really in tune with the initiatic current of these places, he would be able to enliven the ritual. I'm one of these guys. I can enliven this ritual. I'm rather well connected with this through much stuff, let's say. The Vataf, the leader of the pack, has a beach, kind of weapon, yes, and with that weapon he commands the entire pack of Calusarii. The mute guy, the trickster, has a wooden sword and sometimes a steel sword. His job is to make room for the dancers. So basically he has a censorship also role, because people in the villages are not allowed to touch Calusarii, and this mute guy with the sword keeps them away. And he's also entertaining the people. making them laugh a lot. So actually, this is exorcism in itself too. Okay, making someone laugh during a therapeutic ritual. It's interesting, it takes the attention away from the real thing, but puts it in a relaxed place so that the exorcism can really happen. He has a mask, a black mask with black fur on the face, and he's dressed in the most funny and ridiculous way possible. So here we go. We have a funny dressed, ridiculous, intentionally ridiculous mute guy, a trickster who has a lot of stuff to do. So he must be a really experienced initiate, actually, to perform all this craziness. Okay, keep away the people, entertain them, keep the Calusarii, make room for them, and whatnot. So this is a very complex ritual. This is a very complex ritual, and this is the ritual of a Romanian shamanic society. And some old Calusarii in Romania, at least I know of one, who still feels it, who still is there, who still understands the therapeutic healing value of this practice. So there are still people. The ritual is not totally dead, no. Okay, but what the thing here is that it does exist, and this is a huge rarity. Also, one of the big symbols of Calusarii, I remained a bit very nice surprised, is the Otala rune, which is like this. No, it's a symbol of the ancestral power. Very nice. Okay, let's continue. They are dressed with very nice shirts, white, traditional Romanian pants, white, very wide hats with a lot of shiny things around them. So yeah, it's like a priesthood. They are dressed in some very alive, colorful priesthood garments, and some of the paraphernalia of the Calusarii is also gifted by the women in the village. Okay, so this is a community ritual. This is a ritual that involves the entire community. They are dressed in opinci, and the opinci, this is something you need to Google. These are strictly Romanian shoes from the pre-Christian age, and they are still made in Romania. Opinci, something very Romanian. There is no translation for this. You just need to Google opinci, okay? And the opinci, these special shoes, have bells attached to them to continuously chase away bad spirits. Every Calushar has attached to his waist three garlics, three uh, three garlics that have also exorcist potential. So this is like an exorcist type of society, a healing society. The Kalushari ritual was said in the past that it was so powerful that it can bring someone to life, and actually, the ritual in itself is bent on the idea of bringing someone to life, because some dances of the Kalushari around the so-called dead body, which at one point becomes the Mutu, the trickster, are wild and require a lot of skill. It's not an easy dance. It is a very hard dance, actually, the Kalushari dance. It's not something you can perform in your living room, or it's not something, if you can, it's very hard to explain. I'm pretty sure there are some individual practices these guys have done also. We will get into that too. Definitely, to practice the folkloric Romanian tradition, you don't need to know Kalushari. But this is a really excellent way to get yourself involved a bit in the Romanian spirit, because in the Calusarii ritual and practice, that is where the Romanian initiatic spirit shines very powerfully. I have seen the initiation. I have seen what they are doing. I have seen what that. So some elements of the ritual, my conclusions cannot be spoken at the camera, but definitely the ritual contains very powerful initiations. Are they aware of it? The people of today, the old people in the ritual, yes. I'm not. The young people have not a single clue about it. Okay. They start their dance in a circle, so obviously magic here, yes. And they start a song that starts with hapsha, hapsha. Bataful says a word, and the entire circle of people repeats the word. And through this hapsha, they start uh, make their dances more faster, let's say. And here some names of pre-Christian entities are being involved in this dance and in this game. The numbers are being involved in the ritual. Here one, here two, here three, here four, and they all shut out numbers until 8, until 12, and then they start to dance some three type of dances: floricica, the flower dance; banul mărăcine, which is not translatable in English; the just dance, the justice dance. So these three dances, floricica, banul mărăcine, and the hora dreaptă, or the just dance, let's say, are the main three dances that they dance after they invoke the numbers. When they invoke the numbers, they stop at 12. This is to invoke the 12 zodiacal powers. And in all this time, in all these dances, the trickster stays put aside from the group. He doesn't play, he doesn't dance, but walks with the sword around the group in the hand, uh, inside the circle and outside the circle, inside the circle and outside the circle. But in all this time, he has a tempting attitude, gathering the people who watch the ritual more closer to the ritual. At the end of this dance, Calusarii and the trickster start to do all kinds of pranks. Pranks in Romanian traditional folkloric therapy dance or whatnot, the pranks are therapeutic also. They are meant to short circuit the mind of those present there, again for the ritual to have more deeper effect. So here you see the pranks in the Romanian spirit. The pranks are sacred. Pranks are sacred to the Romanian spirit. So we are very humoristic people. Think about this. In Romania, we have the happy graveyard. I'm not kidding you. So we have the happy graveyard in Romanian, in Romanian spirituality. So look how we look at death, guys. Happy graveyard is the only graveyard in the world that is one of the most colorful and funny graveyard. Even on the tombstones, there are jokes. And one of the main rituals, Calusarii, in our tradition, has a trickster guy who makes pranks to heal people, healing people with pranks. Okay? So you must understand that you are, through me right now in English, you are actually looking at a very peculiar, special, and exotic tradition that you probably didn't encounter, and maybe your ancestors didn't conserve this type of stuff so well. So I would say that the Romanians are spiritual kings when it comes to conservation of the tradition. It's not so well conserved. Okay, even in some voodoo dances and spiritual stuff in Africa, they are lost. We have problems with this too here, but you know, the rituals are here. I'm reading to you from a manuscript, guys. Okay, I'm translating at the same time, so you need to really pay attention and be very happy about. I mean, not be very, but have a gratitude. I'm doing an effort to read from a manuscript, translate it to you, and explain it to you. And so many words here are untranslatable. So I'm making a big effort to actually convey the meaning to you. Many words here are untranslatable. You can translate them, but I need to speak about a single word and explain it to you to grasp the spirit. So it's possible to translate them, but with more explanations, though. But it's okay. It's okay. So the trickster guy, the Mutu, the death guy, is behaving like he's dead. All the Calusarii go at him. They touch him to feel if he's dead, and they start a dialogue between them about the dead guy. They hit him with the foot and stuff. They start to cry about him, and then they pick him up, and the dead guy, the trickster, who is not really dead, um, they put him in the center of the dance circle. After the dance is performed, he is raised up, rebirth. The Vataf, the lord or the chief of the ritual, commands the trickster guy to number again all the players. After one of them hides. So you see, there is here a seed of conflict being generated artificially after the Mutu guy has been resurrected. Anyway, long ritual, guys. A long ritual. If I'm scrolling down here, it's like it will take me 2 hours probably to translate everything. So yeah, one of the main purpose of this ritual is also to heal people, and especially to bring luck to ladies that will get married in the village, and more than this, luck, abundance, and whatnot. But also to heal people from the problems that the Rusalile or Yelele have brought. So here we have in the same Romanian culture a kind of artificial conflict in which Yelele are initiatic entities. They get upset on people who do not treat them well, but those people need to be cured either by a witch or to attend a Calusarii ritual. So you see, there Caloianu is one of the main gods of this tradition. Caloianu. And we can look at the big traditions and the possessions. The ritualic possessions in the voodoo, when you are possessed by a certain spirit to convey prophecies or do healing. The ritualic possessions in Far East, India, uh, tantric possessions, or in other shamanic Tibetan practices and Chinese area possessions too. Anyway, they all seem the same, but they are not the same. There are nuances, meanings, compatibilities, and incompatibilities between these practices. Not all practices are compatible with all practices. All right. So it's very important to understand. Calusarii is a ritual of possession. Done right, it has initiation. Done right, it has all the elements of any big tradition embedded into it. Some stuff I cannot speak at the camera because these are really exoteric practices and conclusions. Definitely the true initiatic current is being accessed not through Calusarii. They are a branch. They are a branch. They are a temporary society. Hello there. Welcome, welcome. Here is a guy who has a channel called Spiritualitate like the salt in your food. So, guys, he's a Romanian friend of mine, a practitioner. But yeah, if any Romanian fellows are watching the video, yeah, do visit his channel too. Uh, it's like hoodoo voodoo. It's like more like voodoo, not hoodoo. So there are some dances in Calusarii of possession, much like the voodoo people are doing. Because you are getting possessed by Kaloianu, and Kaloianu is like a Loa. Okay? And there are some runic symbols that the Calusarii are entertaining in their dances too. Okay? The Otala or Os symbol is the symbol of the Calusarii. So Kaloianu would be one of the initiators, the biggest priest. Vătaful is Voden, Votan. The Mutu is the trickster, is like Loki. He's the 13th one. Calusarii are always in the number of 13. 12 have a leader, Vodan, Vodin, Vătaf. The 13th one is the mute guy who says pranks and heals people through pranks. And he's like much like a Loki or a Hermes Mercurial type of guy. And he's also could be seen as the guy who has the most experience. He's like he's policing the Calusarii and the people involved in the ritual. So without the Mutu, without the trickster, the Calusarii rituals could not happen. So this is like a really powerful ancestral teaching that without we need the so-called evil and good together to artificially join, but then produce a natural type of healing in the looker, in the hearer there. All right. So the play of the Calusarii lasts for an entire week during the Yelele 7 days. They are getting money. Traditionally, the Calusarii possessed by Kaloianu are getting money from the villages. And they split between each other in an equal manner. During the ritual of Calusarii, they are not going home and they are just sleeping together. So basically, Calusarii are a temporary secret society of pre-Christian days, and they are a reenactment of something more older than 2000 years old here in Eastern Europe. Calusarii are different from the Solomonari. So we had more people here. A Calusar guy could have been so usually the most experienced Calusar, possessed by Kaloianu, in his free time when he was not involved into the Calusarii tradition and practices, he was usually a Solomonar. The Solomonar name is a Christianized name of the word Salman. I am not the guy telling this for the first time, but I'm the only guy telling this for the first time at the camera in English. Some manuscripts call Solomonari Salman. These Salman were priests, pre-Christian priests and initiates all over Europe. They were here in Transylvania also. They have left prints of their passing in architecture and heraldic. So the presence of the Salmans can be seen in the architecture and heraldic. All right, let's continue. So at the end of the ritual, the last ritual is called the breaking of the Calusarii, or the breaking of the horsing. They do a huge party. This is like the agape in the secret societies. After they, in all secret societies, people after a ritual, they sit, drink, eat in a sacred manner with a sacred feeling, but they enjoy and they throw a big sacred party. So this is like they are behaving like a temporary secret society. For 7 days, this society exists in a year, and it ticks all the elements of a secret society, including the agape at the end when they have a sacred, joyful celebration. Usually, for a real Kalushar to exist, they should have prior initiatic training, and usually the prior initiatic training was given in Eastern Europe around meals. So meals actually in ancient times, in Romanian pre-Christian, but ancient times too, meals were the churches of our people. Around meals, initiation happened. Meals are the centerpiece of our tradition. The hora is the wheel of the meal. The initiations were taken and given, and the teachings around the wheel of a meal. And the meals where you have seen a miller guy, for example, spiritualitate ca sarambucate. Iași was done by a miller, someone owning a huge mill, and his name was Iași, something like this. His family name was Iași. Okay, so around meals in our Eastern Europe, the civilization started to extend. Okay, they have done bread. You've done bread there. It was a very important thing. Yeah, what's up? What's the confusion about? What is the confusion about, huh? So yeah, no, I'm not speaking about this. I'm speaking about meals. Meals. Moară, moară. I'm speaking in Romanian to him. Moară. În jurul moarelor existau aceste societăți secrete, în special. Și morarul era inițiatorul secret al societății. Era un morar, și avea o moară uriașă, dar în locuri secrete, roata morii pe bune de la moară era folosită ca masă și în jurul acelei roți ai morii, acești salmani români, care erau și în Boemia, că erau salmani din Germania, erau salmani din mai multe părți. Okay? So yeah, back to English. I explained the same thing, guys, but in Romanian. So yes, the meals or moară were the centerpiece of our Romanian folkloric magic. That's where you got initiated, and that's where you received your first fasting tasks. That's where the da, exact. That's where the initiator, the man at the meal, would have said to you, okay, after initiation you need to spend a few days in that cave, or a few days there, or a few days there, and you got initiated into all kinds of spellcraft, meteorologic magic, a full-blown tradition. A full-blown tradition that is, I thought for many years, is not alive anymore. I was wrong. I'm very happy to say to you that the tradition is alive, very well hidden, and it takes a lot of effort to get to it, a lot of effort of spiritual nature, not money nature. Yeah. So what can I say? I have spoken about the Calusarii ritual and elements of the Calusarii ritual, plus the Ielele and other Romanian initiatic elements, for 45 minutes. There isn't a single video on the entire internet that is doing what I'm doing. Okay, so please show your appreciation, share, like, and subscribe. All right, if you need more details, contact me, leave a message, and I will give you a means to contact me. That being said, I hope you enjoyed this video about the Eastern European, but European folkloric true tradition. This was not spoken about in English almost at all. I'm not aware of anyone who has published in English or has taken outside of this tradition real stuff. Even Romanians, I like to say this in all my videos about this, I will say, even Romanians are completely ignorant of this esoteric tradition. Okay? Romanians are as ignorant as anyone in the world. So don't think that if this tradition is conserved very well here in Romania, that the Romanians know something about it. They don't. All right? So enjoy your day. Please, if you have questions, address them. Now at the end, if anyone has any questions, they can address it. If not, I'm closing the video. But if there are questions and it's burning, let me know. If you have arrived more late at this video, watch it from the beginning. It's really worth it because I have translated to the camera elements of a very special ritual for you to have a grasp or a feel of the situation. Not every day you get to know stuff of this nature. YouTube is full of spiritual channels. This is not your normal visit, let's say, at a YouTube channel. I'm speaking about real, serious stuff. All right? Enjoy your day, guys. See you next time.